Hey, what's good, guys? I'm Ragujan. So we are on question set 44. Here, let's read the question set 44. The description. The principal of Ranima School in Kandy intends to create a software to enter the information of teachers and students in the school. You are interested with the task of creating this software. Your team is tasked with developing the database of this software. Database development work is shared between you and everyone on the team. You are tasked with storing student and teacher information, creating tables needed to store the subjects that teachers teach and subjects that teachers learn. Use the instructions below to create it. So the first one is create the database using the name of the school database as Ranavima SCHDB. So use DDL Query to create this database. So I'm in the command prompt. So first of all, I need the directory. So this is the directory. Now we are on the. Now we can open up the MySQL. So therefore, I say MySQL u root and now I have to enter the password. Okay, we successfully opened up the MySQL on command prompt. Now we can create the database. Now I have to say create database if not exists. Now I have to mention the name. So Ranabima SCH DBS DB, I guess. So DB. Also, you have to mention the default character set. So it's a default character set UTF-8 with the semicolon. Let's execute this query. Okay. Query OK, one row affected, one warning. To confirm, we can open up our Hades and we have to refresh and let's see, do we have anything with Ranavima? Okay, we have created our database successfully. So that's the answer for question 1. Let's take a look at our question 2. Or you can use now we can see the database using show databases and have to use the semicolon and it will show us the databases that we currently have. So also you guys can see the Ranavima is in the database. Okay, the second question is we had to create the table. This table, the principal has decided to include the information of grade 9 students in the first page of this software. Create a student creates a student table to store student information. Follow the instructions below to create the table. Use DBL Query to create this table. So here you guys can see this has 1 2 3 4 5 6 attributes: student ID, first name, last name, gender, contact number, class, and the student ID is the primary key in this section. Also the auto increment has been checked and not null. Type the data type is int. The data type is int. So let's create in our command line uh, to create a table in the current database. We have to mention the current database first. So we have to say use. We have to say the name. So Ranabima SCHDB So database has changed. So now we can create our table. So first we had to say create table, create table, and the table name. Our table name is student. It's going to be student. And after that, inside the bracket, we have to mention the attribute names. So the first attribute is student ID. So I'm going to say student ID, and I had to give the data type int, and I had to say not null. Also, I had to say auto increment, and now we are first done with the first attribute. Now we are move on to the second one. So the second one it's going to be the first name. First name, I want to say first name, and after that say the data type. So the data type is varchar, and character length 45, and I'd say not null. And now we can move on to the second one, the third one, the last name. Also I have to give the data type varchar 45, and not null. And the fourth one, the data, what is the fourth one, the gender. So gender, and the data type is it's going to be varchar, and the character length is 10, and I have to say not null. And the next one, contact number, the data type is varchar, and the length is 10. Okay, so contact number, data type varchar, and the character length is 11, and oh yeah, I have to say not null. And the last one, it is class, and the data type is varchar, and the character length is going to be 10. Okay, so class varchar 10 and not null. Okay, so far so good, I guess. Now you have to execute the query following up the semicolon, and it table will be created. Okay, we have an error. Yeah, I didn't mention the primary key, so that was the error. So we can mention it right here. Student int not null, and we can mention it, or we can mention the data. We can mention the primary key before after the not null. Or say primary key, or we can mention the primary key before the not null. Primary key. Okay, I guess now let's execute this query. Okay, now we have created our first table. We can check it out on our select or from um, student. So currently we are in the dynamic method. Here it should give us the yeah, it says empty set. We can check it out on our table in our SQL. Okay, we have created our table. It doesn't have any data. So yeah, that's the answer for question 2. Now we can move on to the third one. Okay, the third one, we had to create a student teacher table. Create a teacher table to store teacher details. Follow the instructions below when creating the table. Use the DDL query to create this table. So you guys can see there are 6 attributes. Teacher ID is going to be the primary key, and also it has to be auto increment, and we have an email. So same as student table, slight difference, slight changes. Let's create it. So first we have to say create table teacher, and we have to mention the attribute details. So the first one is teacher ID, and data type int, and has to be primary key. Is the primary key, and we have to say not null, and the second attribute now is the first name, and the data type is going to be Vacha with the correct character length of 45, and I have to say not null, and the third attribute it is the last name, and the data type is going to be Vacha with the character length of 45 and not null, and the next one is gender. The data type is going to be Vacha, the character length of 10, and the next one, oh yeah, I had to say not null, and the next attribute is contact number, and the data type is Vacha, and the character length is going to be 11. Let's take a look. Is it 11? Oh yeah, 11, and not null, the default value, and the last one email, and the data type is Vacha with the character length of 45, and the default value is going to be not null, and that's all. Now we have to execute this command with following of the semicolon. So the query, okay, 0 rows affected. We successfully created the table. We can check it out in our SQL. So is the Ranabima Royal, Ranabima School. Okay, we created this teacher table. So that's the answer for question 3. Now we can move on to the question 4. Let's take a look at our fourth one. So here is the fourth question. The principal has decided to include the main subject that grade 9 students will learn in the first phase of the software. Create a subject table that will be used to store data. Follow the instructions below to create this table. Use DDL Query to create this table. So this is a table name subject, and there are 2 attributes, subject ID, subject name, and the subject ID is going to be our primary key, and it has to be auto increment. So yeah, so we can say create table, and the table name subject, and inside these brackets we have to mention the attributes. The first one, subject ID, and the data type is int, and it is the primary key in our table, and we have to say not null, and the second attribute is subject name, and our data type is going to be Vacha with the character length of 45, and the default value is not null. Let's take a look. Okay, yeah. So now just we have to execute this query. Okay, the query the okay, now we can again say now we can use this command show tables. It will show the subject table as well. So we have three tables in our Anonymous School DB database. So yeah, that's the answer for question 4. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.